Yeah, so I joined in 2007. I was in for 7 years. I was an aviation machinist mate. So that's basically, yeah. That's basically.
Why? Hold on. Why is that funny?
When did you become? When did you become Australian?
I was an aviation machinist, mate. When they took the pirates off the boat, they had bags and shit over their heads, right? And they're facing backwards, and you can't really see anything anyway. But they got these bags on their heads, and all they hear is the fucking engines start revving up and revving. And then when that shit takes off, it fucking is so much force, you know, it like throws you back like that. So I guess they were fucking went to go take them off the carrier, and they had their bags on their heads and shit, and they were like, all the engines were starting to fucking go up and shit. So they started like pissing and shitting themselves and stuff because they were scared. They had no idea what was going on.
I was in a position where like I didn't know what we were doing, but I knew like I wasn't allowed to know, kind of thing. So
yeah, it's kind of like that.
But
that when I was talking about those SEALs when we were in Djibouti, we didn't know what was happening at the time. All we knew is like we had to get them on the plane. We had to get them out as fast as possible. And if anything broke, you had to fix it right then and there because they had to go.
Oh, whoopsie. I did.
or puss or mediocre. Hey,
What's up? You got a little water bubble on your mustache. It's still there.
got it.
And it's back.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to do that. Do you want it?
No, I will not have sex with you, Colby. Stop asking
he already
me.
said off camera he would do it.
I don't know. I started to zone out there.
I bet you did. I bet you did. What's up, everybody?
Hello. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans and active duty.
Happy Veterans Day.
Not Coast Guard, though.
So
Just kidding.
Yeah. Coast Guard, they're not real.
Yeah.
All they do is save crab fishermen when they get hurt.
Yeah.
What's cool about Veterans Day is it's the day that most people get mixed up with Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening that don't know the difference, today is the day, or the 11th, is the day that you shake the hand of a veteran and you say thank you. Memorial Day is not. Memorial Day is not for veterans.
Yeah,
Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Happy Veterans Day.
It is particularly a great day because me and Brandon are both veterans.
We are.
Thank you for your service, Brandon.
Oh, thank you for your service there, guy.
Even though you were in the Navy.
Even though you're in the Air Force. Why'd you did the Air Force thing too? You like fucking coddled my palm as he pulled away.
I was doing
Did you do the little tickle of the
He did. Yeah, like fucking grazed the fucking palm of my hand.
I was doing the Navy shake. I thought that's how they do that.
No, the Navy shake is when you grab each other's dicks and you shake it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
kind of like the holes in the fucking stacked beds on the ship.
The ones that were meant for the Air Force? Yes.
You say that every time.
You say that every time.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
If the story goes too long, people start thinking it's true.
That it was for the Air Force? They know it's true.
No, that it was.
You have a water droplet on your mustache again. Get that thing off. That's gross.
Got it.
I don't know why that grosses
It's
me out
not-
so much. I can see his little fucking hair whiskers go.
Dude, you were chewing something this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were eating like breakfast time. You were chewing on something up front.
Oh, banana. I was eating a banana.
No,
That
it
was
was
banana.
it was that fucking Nutri-Grain bar thing that you were eating.
Nope, it was a banana.
Well, that was right away this morning. I'm thinking the Nutri-Grain bar.
Because
You took a bite of it, and every time you took a bite, a crumb fell in your beard, and you take another bite and a crumb. And there was a point where he was talking to Tempe, and there's literally like 4 crumbs in your beard.
You're getting some confused because I had the banana up front with Tempe. I had the granola bar in the break room later.
Well, then what else did you eat today?
I don't know.
You had something where every time you took a bite today,
You know what it was?
something dropped in your
You know what it was? I bet it was sunflower seeds.
That's what it Oh, yeah, you were spitting them.
Yeah.
And every time you spit them, there was a piece that fell in your beard. And then there was a point you had like 4 fucking...
I know, because I went to the bathroom to go piss, and there's a mirror in there, and I looked, and I saw, I was like, God, nobody told me? Fucking jerks.
I was going to tell you, but you were deep in conversation. I was like, I'm not going to interrupt him.
Oh. Well,
the one time I choose not to interrupt.
One fucking time. It's always when something pertinent needs to be fucking discussed.
Quit using big words. Speaking of big words, do you know what big word I've heard like 40 fucking times in like the last 3 days?
Egregious.
Decadent.
Where'd you hear that?
I don't know why, but that word keeps coming up in everything that I see, watch. It's like...
Sea-Watch.
Sea-Watch. Is it like Baywatch? Sea-Watch.
Everything I see, comma,
I
watch.
Got it.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll break it down for you.
Yeah.
Some people aren't the smartest.
Right. Yeah. Well, Jeremy knows, and you people, and you people know too. If you've stuck around and saw our battles.
What the fuck you mean, you people?
The people on the other side of that camera there.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Shut up.
All right,
dude. Your flies are pissing me off.
Well, that was loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, we got a show today that's planned around Veterans Day. We got some stuff for you.
But before we continue, yeah, leave a comment, like this video or audio. I don't really know if you can really like the audio, but you can leave a comment on it. And also in the links, you will find we have a support link that you can go to support us if you feel like it would be great.
If you love us, support us.
If you love us, support us. Yeah. If you like us, support us. If you don't like us, probably don't support us.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't support us if you don't like us.
No.
But if you don't like us and you support us, we promise to love you. That's our promise to you. That's the KLYB promise.
But if you don't like us and you support us, it's kind of weird. Actually, it's kind of weird.
Well,
but I mean, it's cool. I get it, I guess.
I definitely won't bitch about it.
I'm not going to bitch about it.
Won't bitch about it.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
anyway,
you gonna bitch about it?
I don't bitch about much.
Yeah.
No.
I'm a bitcher.
Just
I like
mice
to bitch
and
about shit.
olives.
Yep.
That
sums it up.
Got you.
Most of the time, bitching about shit makes me feel better.
It does.
It does. I get all the grumpy out, and then I can just move on.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, moving on.
I'm moving on. Jeremy.
Jeremy.
You.
Jeremy.
Okay.
You. Jeremy.
You.
Hey.
That was strange. You were, so people don't know, you weren't military.
I was not military.
No.
But as somebody that was not military, I think we have like questions and stuff that just, I don't know, maybe some people aren't comfortable asking to people that were veterans or whatnot, or some people just ask questions that are ridiculous as well.
Right.
I'm sure you guys get that all the time.
Probably the one that's really common is like the whole, how did the Navy get away with like the don't ask, don't tell thing? I do have a weird, so back in the day when I was dating, I had a match on Tinder, right? And this lady, she asked me, she goes, beings that you were in the military, you, how'd she say it? She's like, you do know 9/11 was an inside job, right? And I was like, oh my God, here we go. Hi, nice to meet you too, crazy lady on the internet. And this Tinder
sounds like the one, and part of it's like, oh, her brother was in the military. He's like, oh, do you fuck with the war? And she's like, what? Do you fuck with the war? That reminded me of that.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that was one of the...
Yeah, now I forgot what I was going to ask. But, is there like one question that people ask you, like maybe on Veterans Day, or just like when they find out that you are a veteran, that like is just really fucking annoying, or like you're just like, why? Like, why does everybody ask me this, or why would you ever ask somebody that?
I can answer that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
first, probably the biggest and most, like, when it's a day like Veterans Day and you just have so many people that like, are like, oh, hey, you were a veteran? One of the biggest is like, or like when you come back home on leave or something, it's like, did you get shot at? Like that was a question I got a lot. Like, did you get shot at over there? Especially like the ones that knew I deployed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you get shot at? No.
No.
No. No.
Tear gassed, yes.
Yeah, tear gas. Couple wrong steps, I would have went through an airplane engine. Good thing that didn't happen.
No. I would have went through a propeller.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah. I did get in trouble for trying to save a guy.
Yeah, I can't really think of any like specific questions I've been asked repeatedly.
Yeah, like one that I always like think of, and I've heard people ask it before, and like I would never think to ask it, but like, especially if they know somebody's been in active duty and everything, like, oh, did you shoot anybody?
Yeah.
Did you like, what the fuck, people? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why do you ask that shit?
That's kind of going like the same lines like as you get shot at. You know, and there's the guys that have, it's weird because guys that have a lot of them won't talk about it but some of them will. You know, but a lot of them always say like, you know, you go through a life-changing event, you know, and I don't ask you the details of it.
Yeah.
You know, why you ask me the details
Right.
of mine? Like,
Oh, you're a widower? Why? What happened?
How'd
your wife die?
yeah, exactly. Like, you don't go ask people that.
No.
Or like, you know, like somebody commits suicide and you go to the funeral and you ask, how'd your husband do it?
Right.
You don't ask that. Like,
Right.
it's just one of those questions. Like, when you ask a vet, have you ever been shot at? It immediately if they have, it brings them back to like those moments where they were.
Right. Like, oh yeah, let me tell you the story here. I was like, no, why?
Yeah.
Which, granted, they say talking about stuff like that
It's supposed to help you.
does help deaden it, but there's only so much deadening you can do in that kind of shit.
So I guess then again, I think just let the people know about like your service. Like, what do you all do? Like, when did you start? How long you were in? Just kind of give an overview.
Yeah, we've never really actually gone that deep.
Have we not?
No.
Oh.
I think we gave like a brief. I was in the Air Force. You were in the Navy.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. So I joined in 2007. I was in for 7 years. I was an aviation machinist mate. So that's basically, yeah. That's basically.
Why? Hold on. Why is that funny?
When did you become did you become Australian?
I was an aviation machinist, mate. Yeah, so never thought of it that way, but yeah, it makes sense.
See, and I thought he was like laughing because of the title name or whatever. Like, there was some type of inside military joke, but no, he actually came up with a funny joke himself.
Wrong. Good job. Yeah, so I was an aviation machinist, mate. Which is basically just jet engines and propellers, in my case. So I did that for 7 years, did 3 deployments. My first one was with the Enterprise, USS Enterprise, on its very last cruise. And then my next 2 was with the Dwight D. Eisenhower. And which my deployments are kind of weird. So like most people when they're attached to like a carrier and stuff, you know, they're on the carrier. Well, we support the ship from land, so we would ride the ship when we leave port from the States, and we'd ride it for, it depends on the deployment. Sometimes it was like 5-6 days, sometimes it was a month, whatever. And then we'd fly off and we'd fucking hop around for like Italy, France, Africa, Djibouti, whatever. And then so yeah, I did that, 3 deployments, 7 years. I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia the whole time. That's basically the gist. Most of my time was spent on deployments in Bahrain, the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Yeah.
What was the plane you worked on?
Oh yes. Well, my first ever command, it was both the C2 Greyhound and the E2 Hawkeye because it was a training squadron. And then after that, it was the VRC 40 Rawhides, the C2 Greyhound. And that's it. Those two planes.
Which probably means nothing to Jeremy, but
Yeah, no,
No.
what'd your plane do?
they sound pretty sweet.
Different stuff. So it was if you could picture like a C-130, it's kind of like that, but a lot smaller.
Mini C-130.
Because obviously it has to fly to and from the ship.
Yep. Yours wasn't the one with the donkey dick off the tail, was it?
No.
It was like a sub. They got one that looks like that, but it's got a donkey dick off the back. And it's for like finding submarines underwater.
No, that's the P-3 Orion.
Is that what that? Yeah.
That one doesn't look. That one looks like it looks
It's
like a
like a-
passenger jet.
It's no, the one I'm thinking of, I saw in Spain. They had a bunch of them out there. I think they were Spanish planes too, but I thought
Maybe.
we had some of them. But they had they're like,
Off the back of it?
yeah, it's like twin prop C-130, right?
Yeah.
So there's two, but it's really small, like a small C-130. And then off the back, there's like this big donkey dick that sticks out, and that it's like some sort of antenna, and they fly over the ocean with it, and it like sends like ping.
Yeah,
and
that wasn't ours.
they find subs with it.
That wasn't ours. So the first squadron, the E2 Hawkeye,
Yeah,
that one is the one with the gigantic radar on the top of it, and that's just like it's like an early warning system. So it's basically like extends radar range and shit.
comm center.
Kind of. And then the other one, the C2, my main plane, that was it's like cargo, like we would fly cargo and passengers to and from the boat. And then we would also sometimes like we flew some SEALs out of Djibouti because they had to go to I don't know if you guys remember that those Somali pirates, they took over that yacht somewhere over there. I don't remember where it was at, but they boarded it and they took the hostages and shit. So we flew the SEALs out for that mission and shit. So do all kinds of weird shit. And then we flew the pirates onto the boat where they were, prisoners.
Yep.
Once they got them. So, but it's funny too, because like with our planes, so you face backwards when you go to take off the boat, when you launch off the catapult, and it wouldn't matter for them, but there's one window on each side. But for them, when they took the pirates off the boat, they had bags and shit over their heads, right? And they're facing backwards, and you can't really see anything anyway, but they got these bags on their heads, and all they hear is the fucking engines start revving up and revving and revving and revving. And then when that shit takes off, it fucking is so much force, it like throws you back like that. That's why you face backwards, because if you're facing forwards, like when you land, it fucking sucks you in.
Yep.
But yeah, so I guess they were fucking went to go take them off the carrier, and they had their bags on their heads and shit, and they were like, all the engines were starting to fucking go up and shit, so they started like pissing and shitting themselves and stuff because they were scared. They had no idea what was going on. Fucking pussies.
Bitches.
Little fucking cunts.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the gist of my shit.
Nice. I joined 2010. I was in 5.5 years. I was a heavy aircraft crew chief, which was basically the exact same thing Brandon did, except for instead of being specialized on one aspect of the airplane, I had to know like everything, a little bit of everything. So I wasn't like a super detailed jet troop mechanic, but I knew enough to get me in trouble, kind of thing. So I knew a little bit about all the operating systems, and we were in charge of repair of the entire general aircraft. So we marshaled them in, we launched them out. We did all of the routine service, all the inspections. And then at one point, I got to the point where I was a flying crew chief. I would go with the plane anytime we went TDY. My plane was a refueler and cargo. So we did cargo missions and refueling missions. So we had 300,000 pounds of jet fuel. We'd fly around in big circles over Iraq, Afghanistan, and refuel fighters and bombers and C-130s and pretty much everybody. But I did 3 deployments. The 2 over to the desert. One was in Spain. Spent 3 months in Spain. That was a good one. That was fun.
Spain's a good time.
Yeah. Had a forward deployment. Spent some time in Oman one time. I think it was there 60 days or something like that. 30 or 60 days. Forward deployment. That was cool. Yeah, we so like Brandon's plane was they would assist, they were support for the ships. And they would fly to shore. In my plane, when we were running cargo missions, we would fly TDY cargo missions, bring supplies to a air station or Air Force base or naval base. We would drop off supplies that they needed. And then I'm sure those supplies would get moved over and they'd probably get loaded on your plane. And then you guys would take them out to the ships. And so it's kind of like a whole, like all the branches interconnect. And as much as you hear, like, you'll hear a lot of guys like me and Brandon, like we'll give each other shit about being in different branches. But it's amazing how all of them really work together in the background and you don't even realize it. You know, Army, Marines, guys that are on the ground, they can't do their job without air support. And they can't do their job without replenishing supplies and stock and cargo drops. And, you know, Air Force helps with that. They can't do their job without the Navy bombing the shit out of places from the ocean and before they go in to make sure that it's just not absolute great. So, I mean, a lot of people don't realize, but all the branches work together, like intensely to really meet an objective. And that was, dude, I got in a fight with a guy, a reserve Army guy one time. This dude was, you're the chair force, right? And we'll come to find out after sitting at a bar next to him for 20 minutes, this dude was a reservist in the Army that had never done shit. Jack shit. He's been out on the training yard fucking throwing hand grenades behind a fucking safe bunker with an instructor for his weekend duty. He's at this bar talking shit with 2 of his friends, and I'm like, whatever. Well, enough got to enough. He was being one of them guys. It's like real Army guys to a point. Like, you'll give each other shit, but then at a certain point, they'll be like, yeah, no. We appreciate the Air Force. Anyone that's deployed, they're like, yeah, the Air Force is cool. You know, they'll give you shit, and then they'll be like, yeah, no, we like the Air Force.
Right.
But like the reserve guys, they'll do that camaraderie bullshit where they're like shitting on you, but they don't know when to stop because they've never been in anything ever. And that was this dude. And eventually it got enough, and enough was enough. And I looked at my buddies and said, I'm going to hit this dude. Took my shot and turned around and I clean off his fucking bar stool. And his 2 reserve Army buddies got up and they fucking ran out the front door. I was like, you motherfucker. Yep.
Yeah.
So you say, like you just mentioned how you guys all kind of work together. And is there any, like, we always hear about Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, all that. Is there any, like, one position that isn't so much talked about, but like everybody from every branch is just like, yeah, we respect that one. Like that's they're badasses there.
You know, everybody knows the SEALs.
Yeah.
And everybody knows like Army Rangers and like recon snipers or like Marines. You know, everybody knows of those. But what they don't know is that there's so many other like special operations units that are in all of the branches.
Yeah.
So like Navy, I mean, there's way more than just Navy SEALs.
Right.
But Navy SEALs are considered like the elite of the elite, you know? So for instance, like Air Force, nobody hears of pararescue, really. But pararescue is one of like the most, I think, intense, badass positions. These guys are certified fucking combat badasses, right? They're trained to fucking go in and fuck motherfuckers up. But their main mission is to go behind the enemy lines when people are fucking injured and down in hostile environments and basically provide medical aid, medical assistance, and evac. Get them the fuck out of there. It's basically like sending a Navy SEAL in to provide medical rescue. That's their job. They have to go through all the combat training, all the fucking survival training. They have to go through, you know, they don't go through like buds or whatever, but, you know, their own special, you know, they go through water training, everything. But then on top of that, they basically have to go to school to become like a doctor in like a 12-month period on top of all that other shit. So like they're literally like Navy SEAL doctors, but they're in the Air Force. And they have their jump wings. I mean, there's times where they parachute into places to go find somebody that's fallen, provide medical assistance in a fucking hot zone, and get them the fuck out. I mean, those guys I think are fucking absolute badass.
Yeah, I think the same goes. They're not like elite trained fighting forces, but the FMF corpsmen is what they're called, and they're basically they're corpsmen, but it's Fleet Marine Force. So they basically it's a Navy corpsman that goes with all like the ground, the Marine infantrymen and shit, and they're corpsmen, like for certain squadron or not squadrons, but squads and shit. But those guys are just like the field fucking medics.
Yeah, they're like
Corps.
Basically trauma room doctors that are elite trained to shoot and kill and be just as badass as the next guy while they're fixing down, you know, military men.
Yeah, the FMF corpsmen. I don't think they're not. I don't think they're trained like those guys are, but they're trained like with Marines and stuff for battle and shit.
Pararescue guys are fucking. They're, you know. So put it this way, right? I mean, when you're thinking like badass military members, right? Because there's a lot of motherfuckers that are just absolute fucking animals. I was working out for about 2-week period of time with these dudes that were combat controllers and pararescue. They were on an R&R, which is rest and relaxation, at my deployment base. So where I was deployed being like, God, fuck, this sucks. They took them out of the AOR, the hot zone, and brought them to where I was deployed so that they could have 2 weeks to just chill and relax. Like that's, you know what I mean? That's the kind of shit where, you know, a lot of people don't realize that, but there's so much shit going on all over the world that people don't realize the military's doing. You know, there's ships everywhere. There's planes staged everywhere. Like, I mean, at any given moment, we have like a reaction team within the military that's somewhere in the world that's like, we can be there right now. You know?
Yeah. Pretty much.
But yeah, the SEALs pretty much take it hands down for the most badass.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the one that
the CIA,
you hear about the most.
The CIA is where it gets fucking super, super duper secret squirrel because they don't operate on the same terms as the military does. They're not bound by a Geneva Convention and they can do whatever the fuck they want. Those guys they're SEALs that are retired and then they're doing it for big money behind the scenes. Like you see in the movies.
Behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes.
Like you see
Behind the scenes.
like you see in the military or in the movies. Government contract. Yeah, those dudes those dudes are badass.
All right. Scenario here.
Yep.
Close family friend is having their son or daughter now
Yep.
is graduating high school.
Yep.
They're dead set on wanting to join the military, but the mom or dad absolutely freaked out, nervous, doesn't want them to do it at all.
Yep.
What advice do you tell them? What do you say to them?
To the parents?
Very first question is, what branch and what are you trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it definitely depends.
It does.
If they're dead set on like going to the Army to be just, infantrymen, I mean, I'm not knocking any of that.
You can't really smooth that over with the parents though.
But that's going to be,
they know what that's all about.
That's going to be a hard sell. I mean, know for a fact, no matter what you do, you're going to war, and wherever there's guns fighting, that's where they're going to be. Now if they were like, say, in our situation, they were going to one of the branches of the military where they were going to be an airplane mechanic, or whatever. Absolutely.
Let's say, do it.
I'd go. Let them do it. Absolutely.
But in that same token, if they said they want to go and be a cook or something, I'd be like, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Because you would not enjoy shit. I feel like.
No.
I mean, I didn't do that position, but
somebody's got to be in every realm to make the whole thing happen.
Oh, there has to be everybody,
but if it's a family friend and it's their child, I'm going to give them my advice as truthfully as possible. And I'd be like, if they're going to be a cook, tell them to go to college.
I mean, if it's something they really want to do, but I mean, sure. I guess they'll be safe, more than likely.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, no matter how you look at it, like, if they're going to be in a position where they're going to be like high risk and danger,
you can't smooth that over.
I mean, there's no telling the parents like, oh, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that your child's not going to come back.
Yep.
I mean, it's a possibility that you sign up for it. Even as an aircraft mechanic, there's a possibility that your child might not come back. Yeah. There's dangers everywhere.
Working on the flight deck of the carrier is like one of the most dangerous jobs you can have.
Flight deck of the carrier, working on the flight line, working around airplane engines. I mean, going with the jet. I mean, there's a chance the plane could crash. It happens.
They always say, like, when you're on the flight deck, they call it organized chaos, because it really is. Because it's super organized, but it's fucking chaos. There's people everywhere running around. When you go up there, you have no fucking idea what's going on. There's fucking planes all over the place. There's people all over the place. There's certain lines you can't cross. There's certain places you can't go, and it's until you like know what you're doing. It's kind of scary a little bit.
Well, and like, how often did you get like, so you're tasked to do this or this mission or whatever, and you don't necessarily have all the details. Like, you don't really know, like, you're going to do this, but you don't really know what you were supposed to, or like what's actually going on. You're just tasked to do this mission, but you don't know like the rest of the story on it or whatever.
So that happens not a lot with guys like us. Mm-mm. I mean, so I had a couple times where like I didn't know what the fuck what was going on. So one of them, like when I was forward deployed to Oman, we had it should be. I've been out long enough.
It doesn't matter. That's forever.
Yeah. So we had like a midnight alert where we got called and said, get the jets in the air now. Go, go, go. Well, because we were forward deployed there, all the mechanics that were there was like 2 per jet or whatever. We had to get on the plane and go with. Didn't know what we were doing, but I mean, you flew with lights out. I mean, cockpit's dark. Like you knew you were doing something that was ridiculous, but you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. You were just told to get on the plane. Now, we were sitting in the back playing spades. Like, it's no big deal flying around on the airplane, but you could tell that what we were doing, like, the pilots weren't too, like, enthused about it. They were, like, really focused
White
and,
knuckling the fucking-
attent
the
to
yoke
what
and
was
shit.
going on. So, I mean, there was a few times where, like, I was in a position where, like, I didn't know what we were doing, but I knew, like, I wasn't allowed to know kind of thing. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
but
That when I was talking about those seals when we were in Djibouti, we didn't know what was happening at the time. All we knew is like we had to get them on the plane. We had to get them out as fast as possible. And if anything broke, you had to fix it right then and there because they had to go.
yeah.
That's it. We found out later, obviously, what was happening.
And
And
usually,
then when they were taking like bags of blood and shit onto the planes, like something's happening
Right.
for like transfusions and shit.
and guys like us, we find out like the general public. Like we don't go to like that debriefing after it's done, and they're like, "All right, so this is what you did. This is what you did."
Right.
No, like you're in the chow hall like 2 days later watching CNN and on your deployment, and you're like, "What the fuck? We killed Bin Laden?" And then you're like, "Wait a minute,
That was me. Was I there?
wait a minute."
Yeah.
So-
That all depends, dude. Like our OIC, he told us what was going on afterwards.
Well, and a
Yeah.
lot of times the pilots on the planes will fill you in. Like when I went from Oman one night, we were flying over Somalia, or no, we left from Marone. We were flying over Somalia. I can't remember. I get them fucking mixed up. But we were flying over Somalia one night, helping with like a hostage rescue mission, something, and we were just flying the refuel track to like get all the teams there. So we were there escorting with refuel, and we didn't know, but we were flying fucking lights out, no cockpit dark, blah, blah, blah. And then we got back, but we were talking to the pilots on the way back. We're like, what were we doing? And they're like, Somalia, pirate hostages, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sweet. But the cool thing, when I was over the last deployment I was on in the desert, they would do like this thing like once a week where they would show you, like when you see like a TikTok video of like, it's like the black and white infrared where they like, it's an airplane that drops bombs or shoots a bunch of guys on the ground. They would show us those in like a briefing once a week. And in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, it would like, so say like if me and Brandon were working on an airplane and we got the plane ready and we launched it that morning, in the bottom corner of the screen, it would say Dickus Patton. So then you would watch, they would give you a briefing on the mission, what it was doing and what the bombs, like who they were blowing up. And then in the bottom, it would say your names. So they're like, this jet, you guys launched it, and this is what they went and did. So we refueled this airplane, and this airplane went and dropped the bombs on those. And it was kind of like this incentive thing where they wanted people to get out of the routine of you're just launching a refueling aircraft. They wanted you to see like real world, you made that jet go. That jet went and refueled a fighter or a bomber. And this is the video of what was taken from what that plane did. So like you got to see real world. And like one of them that I was a part of, a bunch of U.S. Army troops were like pinned down in this gunfight, and there was a lot of fucking dudes firing at them from the mountains and shit. And one of the planes that I, refueled from the jet that I launched went and just took out like 60 of these fucking dudes at one time. They come through and just blew the whole fucking mountainside to shit. And that was it. Firefight was over. They pretty much killed everybody in one go. Saved a whole bunch of fucking Army guys. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, if I wouldn't have taxied that jet out and got it ready and, you know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't have happened. It would have been a different airplane, but it was cool as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. So you talked about kind of different choosing what job and stuff you want to go into. Like if you're going to be a cook, I mean,
Yeah.
Still need them, but how much of that do you actually get to choose? Like you say you want to go in and do this, and you get to basic training, and they're like, well, actually, you're going to do this,
So
or
that-
is it like
That
yeah,
depends. There's a lot of different scenarios. So like in the Marine Corps, right? So if you don't have your diploma, if you just have like a GED, they pick your MOA, they pick your job for you. And then everything else is based on your ASVAB score. So you take like a test prior to joining.
And everybody takes the ASVAB.
Everybody
I've
takes
taken it before.
Yep.
So depending on whatever you score, so let's say you score like a 50, right? So there's a certain amount of jobs that you can do that's up to a 50. Let's say like nukes, dudes that work on the nuclear fucking shit for like the subs and shit, they're scoring in like 90s and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like mine, I think mine was like 65 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Why?
I thought you would have been way up higher than that.
No?
I think I scored like an 85
Did you?
on the ASVAB.
Well, because there's a lot of shit on there that at the time I didn't fucking know.
Well, it's
It was
also
like general questions.
It's also heavily weighted in like mechanical knowledge. Like, so if you are a very good blue collar guy and you have like a general knowledge of just how shit works, there's like 10% of it that's like math and geometry and physics and shit that you have to figure out. I did pretty well on the ASVAB.
Yeah. See, at the time are you going to pee? I fucking told you.
Dude, I did not have to pee.
God damn it. You can't just hold it. We're almost done.
I know, dude. I'm fucking
Fucking cut this guy.
Oh, what an idiot.
Yeah. I fucking lost what I was even thinking. Yeah. So at the time I was 18 or whatever. So I didn't really have a whole lot of mechanical background at the time. So I didn't know a bunch of fucking the mechanical shit that they asked and stuff, you know? But yeah, so it all depends really. But I mean, before you go in, depending on your scores, you pick what you want, you're going to get that. However, so like SEALs, right? If you join to be a SEAL, so if you join and you pick SEAL and you're going to be a SEAL, if you drop out, I can't remember if you pick or not. You don't really pick another job. They make you like a boatswain's mate, right? So you're like doing, I don't even know everything they do, basic shit on the fucking boat, you know, like cleaning this and that and whatever the fuck they do. I don't even know what they do. So yeah. So if you're ever going to go to be a SEAL, unless you know you can fucking pass all the tests and everything, don't join as a SEAL. Join as something else and switch later. Because if you've joined, I'm pretty sure if you join as whatever you want to pick, like a mechanic, right? And then you go to be a SEAL later and you fail, buds, then I think you can go back to your original job. You don't just go where they put you. You know, you done there, little baby bladder?
Yep. Yep.
Jeez, I knew it. I told you to go pee again.
Dude, I did not have to.
It doesn't matter. You know what? Next time, you just push something out. I want your dick to hurt because you're pushing so hard trying to get pee.
I didn't have the inkling of trying to take a piss before we started. I was listening to what you were saying about the buds and like failing out. And it's like the same in the Air Force too. Like if you pick a specialty, like a special forces specialty, and you fail out of it, you pretty much get defaulted into like being a cop. Like an Air Force cop.
MP.
Yeah. So that
wouldn't be too bad. I feel like that'd be better than being a
job,
boatswain's
but
mate.
like most of the cops become gate guards. And like right away, like you are a gate guard. So you check people's IDs when they come on base and this and that. And then after you get to like staff sergeant or higher and you've been on a deployment or two, then like you get a patrol car and you get to, you're like a shift lead and you get to go patrol. Yeah. But like when I went to, so I took my ASVAB and I went to MEPS, I went to my recruiter. I gave him my ASVAB results, and then he made me take like another test in his office. he had like this computer, and you have like an hour and a half to take it or something. But you take this test on his computer, and it's broken down into sections. So there's like a mechanical aptitude, electrical knowledge, just all sorts of stuff, mathematics. There's like financial, there's like a finance section, and you go through all of it, and you take the test on the computer, and at the end of it, it breaks it down and it tells you each section, like out of 100%, like what you scored in that section. And most of the sections I was like 60, 70%. And then it got to like mechanical aptitude, and I was like 99. And he's like, judging by this, he's like, you definitely need to do something in the maintenance world. He's like, what do you want to do? And then he gives you a list, like mechanical aptitude. Here's the list of jobs that fall under that. He's like, those are what you're probably going to get. Mm-hmm. So then he goes through, and it's like aircraft maintenance, jet mechanic, hydraulic mechanic, blah, 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 blah. And then, so I ended up picking, my first pick was like helicopter mechanic. So I picked helicopter, and then I picked, I think crew chief was second. So like aircraft crew chief was second. And then I think like jets was third. And then, so then you pick those jobs, and then I can't remember. I think I found out at like basic training what my job was. Like when you're like, you get like halfway through basic, and then they tell you like what your job is, unless you like came in on like a Boy Scout, like Eagle Scout thing or something, and you get like a guaranteed job. Or if you're like a reservist, you already come like knowing what your job is. But I think I found out like halfway through basic. And then the day I got to tech school after basic training was over, I was like, okay, I'm an aircraft mechanic. That's what I'm going to do. I had no idea what I was working on. I had no idea what plane. I had no idea anything. So then you get there, and the first day, like you get off the bus, you go into this room, and they have a sheet, and they're like, Airman so-and-so, you're F-22s. Airman so-and-so, you're on A-10s, so-and-so. And they just went down this list, and you kind of like got in groups of like airplanes, and they called KC-10 for me, and I'm like, sweet, what the fuck's that? I didn't know what the KC-10 was. And then I found out, later it was, the first week, all of us, it was like you got there, you had like one day of like nothing to just, put your room together and get all your stuff out. And then like you started training your tech school for that airplane. So it was like my second day in tech school, I found out what a KC-10 was and all the shit. And
yeah, I knew what I was doing, what my job was going to be when I went to boot camp. I just didn't know what it was. I knew what it was, but I didn't really know what it all entailed until I was actually basically in A school.
See, after I went to MEPS, like I knew for sure, like I was going to be in maintenance.
Yeah.
So like they told me like you will be in maintenance no matter what. But I don't think I found out like my actual, they call it AFSC. It's kind of like an MOS. AFSC was like Air Force job something.
Yeah. Ours is called rate. Your rate. What else you got?
Yeah, so
That's all the questions I have.
Oh.
I have something.
Is there something that you that you went in, like, I want to do this before you had your options and stuff?
So when I first went, right, and the reason I went to the Air Force is because my grandfather was in the Air Force and spent a lot of time muskie fishing with him over the summer after I graduated. And at the time, I was lost. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, and I had just been through some shit, and I was like, I know I don't want to go to college, because if I go to college, I'm just going to get drunk and party, and I'm not going to learn anything, and I'm terrible at school. I don't like doing homework. I'm like, I can't spend money on college. I got to do something that's not college. So then I'm muskie fishing with my grandpa, and he kept telling me all these stories about when he was in the Air Force, because he was a driver, and he used to drive like buses and then he'd drop people like he'd do like flight line duty where he'd drop people off on the flight line. And then he got to be in like the motor pool section where he was driving like distinguished guests. So he has this list that he showed me of all these people that he drove in like limos on base. And he's like, got this list of like 4 stars and 3-star generals and all these high ranking people that he drove for. And like JFK's doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He had like JFK's doctor and like emergency medical crew. And he drove for all these fucking really. So I'm like, God, that doesn't sound like a terrible idea. Like Air Force. I was like, okay.
Go be a driver.
But I didn't want to be a driver. I knew I didn't want to drive stuff. But I think when I went in initially, I was already kind of like, because I had a seat saved for me at Wyotech in Laramie, Wyoming. Is it Laramie? Laramie.
Laramie. Share me.
I was thinking
Air Force. Hey guys, want to share me?
I was thinking of Cheyenne.
Yo,
But
you mixed up Laramie and Cheyenne.
Yeah. So Laramie, Wyoming, the Wyotech, I was gonna go out there for like hot rod restoration and like custom fabrication and shit. And that whole plan, like I like bailed on it and went to shit because of what was going on at the time. So I knew like going in, like I was like, I want to do like something like mechanical. Like I want to like fix shit. You know what I mean? But I wasn't sure what was available. Like what. When I went there, I had no idea like what I could do, you know. And of course, my recruiter was he was a cop, so of course he was like, you know, you'd probably really like being a cop, and I was like, joke's on you, I would not like being a cop. I tell you that right now. But then he tried talking me into like, and I think it's because they got they got better like kudos or like. I'm wondering if they got like bullets on their EPRs at the end of the year, if they recruited so many people into like special forces categories. Because he was like, he was like, you should be a cop. I'm like, no. He's like, okay, you should be special forces. And then he was like pushing special forces like really fucking hard. And I'm like, dude, like I'd be down, but I don't know if I want to do that for a career.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely have like that mean streak. I could definitely kill people and not think twice about it. But I'm like, I don't know, like if you know what I mean? I want to do something eventually that's not military related. So I was like, I'm not, and I decided not to do.
No.
Because
What was your question?
Oh, I don't have a question, but I was going to.
Didn't he say I have a question?
No, I said I have something for you.
Oh,
so let me move over here. With Veterans Day comes a lot of sweet perks if you're a veteran. I was just gonna name off a few of the really well known establishments that offer veteran discount or free meals.
yeah, Applebee's.
On Veterans Day. Applebee's is always one. This
Golden
list,
Corral.
Bob Evans, Bombshell Restaurant and Bar. Do you know who that is?
No idea.
I don't. Bonefish Grill.
I don't know. Sounds familiar.
Caribou Coffee. Veterans, active duty military members, and their spouses with a valid ID receive a small hot brewed coffee of the day or cold press, including nitro on it.
Oh.
You can go to Caribou. We don't have one around here.
Mason City, you do.
Yeah.
Is there a Caribou?
Right on the main strip.
Right by that fucking the 5
The old
intersection.
Pizza Hut. By the old Pizza Hut or by
Oh, the
Pizza
shit,
Hut
there is.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Well, I can tell you for free that I've never been there.
Oh yeah, it is down there.
Yeah.
I think there is one by the 5 turn.
No, that's Cabin.
Oh, that's right. It's Cabin.
Chili's. Veterans and active
Baby
duty
back
members
ribs.
get a
Barbecue sauce.
you get a free meal from a select menu.
It's a baby.
Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers. That
Freddy's
sounds good.
Freddy's is fucking good.
Yeah.
There's none here though.
Gold Star Chili. I don't know what that is. Golden Corral. Hacienda Mexican restaurants.
Hacienda.
My all-time favorite. Hooters. Active duty military and veterans get
Free wings.
free entree from the Hooters Veterans Day menu with purchase of
I will say this about
beverage at participating location.
unless they've changed it, I have done the Applebee's one before, and it's always like they give you 4 options, and it's like the most rinky-dinky ass fucking deals.
So like 8 years ago or so, they had a full menu that they did, and then they changed it.
Yeah.
But we got Red Lobster, Red Robin.
Yum.
Oh, dude, White Castle.
I don't got one. We don't have a lot of those that we're.
White Castle would be sweet if we had one around here.
We have an Applebee's.
We have an Applebee's. I do know that the buffet at the casino gives out a free meal.
Cool.
Let's see, 7-Eleven, get a free quarter-pound Big Bite.
Gross. They're fucking little rollers. I can't even think what they call them at 7-Eleven. Those things are good as fuck though.
Oh, like little roller dogs.
No, they're not the dogs. They're like the
Tornadoes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Billy Sims Barbecue. I've never heard of that one. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Speaking of, fuck Buffalo Wild Wings. That fucking place in Mason City is the most garbage fucking Buffalo Wild Wings I've ever been to in my goddamn life. They started, or I think they all have started doing this, but once one plate of food is ready, they start serving it and they bring it out while the other person sits there and waits another 20 minutes for the rest. And for the 3 out of the last 4 times I've went there, I've had to wait 20 minutes for my plate to come while everybody else was there. And they come out and it's fucking cold. My wings are fucking cold.
It's because they can't find anybody that can cook that has any common sense, so they know how to time orders correctly.
Fuck that place.
Yeah.
I don't know why you went back. Wasn't that one of your pet peeves or something?
Yes,
He
but
went back to try it.
But
He
Kylie
went back to
mentioned
try
it, and it sounded fucking amazing because I love their food. I love Buffalo Wild Wings food.
Yeah.
Just they change up that business model and fuck them for that.
Okay, I'm going to name off a couple more, and then we're going to leave you with that. This one works good for us. Casey's General Store. Get yourself a free cup of coffee.
Free slice of pizza. At least.
Yeah. No
A breakfast pizza would be fucking good.
Yeah.
We should just walk in there, grab a piece of breakfast pizza, and be like, veterans.
Eat it on the way.
Cracker Barrel, which is a fucking good place to eat.
No, it's not. It used to be good. It's gone down the fucking shitter.
Veterans get a complimentary slice of double
Bread.
chocolate fudge.
Yeah, I don't care about
Coca-Cola
that.
cake.
Cinnamon
I don't
raisin
want
bread.
Just cinnamon raisin bread.
The next one I was going to say is Denny's, which, fuck, I wish we had a
I do
Denny's.
too. I love Denny's.
Yeah.
Offers a complimentary Grand Slam to all active, non-active, and retired military personnel.
Sons of bitches.
Fuck, man. Denny's is where it's at. Dunkin' Donuts, veterans, and active duty members get a free donut of their choice. And, well, Famous Dave's, we got one of those up in Owatonna. What do you get? Free lunch, Georgia chopped pork sandwich.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And
Last but
I'm
not
going to
least.
end it. Don't tell me when. I'm going to end it on Friendlies.
Oh.
You ever heard of a Friendlies?
Sounds familiar.
They're all over the East Coast. Get a free cheeseburger and fries.
Is that the one where they're dicks to you? Because
No.
I'm just kidding.
But the reason I'm going to end on Friendlies is because when I lived in New Jersey and Jaden decided to move to New Jersey,
Lost your virginity.
she came out for a week to stay with me before we drove back to get all of her stuff and then move out. She landed at the Philadelphia airport. I picked her up, and on the way back to the house, the first place that we stopped was Friendlies for dinner.
That's when you knew.
And that's when I knew.
You were in love.
Yep, she had a banana split, and she took that banana and put the whole thing down her throat, and I said, I fucking love you. That's not a true story. My wife will never tell you that that's a
She
true
will never
story.
admit to it, but it happened.
But we want to express a huge thank you to all members of the military, all members that have served,
And the families.
and their families for putting up with, the sacrifices that you make being a part of the service. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
Veterans Day is for you. Veterans Day is for us.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. Go do something you want to do, especially because it lands on Saturday this year.
Yeah.
So
Do something.
Go take some time for you. Thank you. You deserve it. Do it. So with that being said,
Love you guys.
we love you.
Love you guys.
Don't forget to support us. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck
Fuck
you.
you. Till next time, KLYB.
And chasing their butt cheeks up and down the corn. All these girls have cowboy boots and wear their Wrangler. Fuck me in the butthole.
Take two.
Chasing their butt cheeks up and down the corn. All these girls have cowboy boots and carry around their pitchforks. Chasing their butt cheeks up and down the corn. All these girls have real nice butts and wear those Wrangler jean shorts. All right, dude.
Pull chocks.
Pull chocks.